Good day, folks. It's James here with ProPix Canada Media. Welcome back to another live chat with James. Today we're doing something a little different, and today we're going to talk about photography, videography, and how to use online licensing platforms to make money with your hobby, or you may be a professional. But did you know that there are other avenues in addition to using the platforms such as Getty Images, iStock, Shutterstock, Adobe, so many others that are out there, but there are others that you can utilize as well in order to sell the data from your images and videos to the AI training systems and AI companies. Now, a lot of these are actually being licensed and purchased through sites such as Pond5, among others. And essentially, when the systems need to, when they need to teach the computers in what they call machine learning, they have to input various data in order for the machines to learn. And when it comes to photography and videography, the wide open landscape in which they could be utilizing that data for could be for autonomous driving vehicles, recognizing obstacles in roadways, traffic patterns, all of that. Wildlife, and so much more. They can be using the photos and the videos as templates to create new AI-generated images, or they could be using them to train medical systems if you have that type of genre in terms of your data. Now, when you take a look at your videos and your photos, these are considered digital assets or IP assets, which is intellectual property. You own these images as if they were a product on a store shelf. These are yours. Now, unlike when you are selling at a retail outlet, when people use your videos or your photos, they are licensing the use. They are not buying the rights of the image, and therefore you can make money on the same image or same video clip over and over again. Now, I've had video clips and photos, among other things, that have sold licenses and multiple licenses for single use on, whether it was news coverage. I've licensed footage to the documentary channel for various programs. I have licensed footage from covering the Ukraine war to documentaries, and so forth. So there's a lot of areas in which you can utilize, or they can utilize, your data or your multimedia files. When you look at whether it's TV shows, newscasts, or such, if you watch at the end and you watch the credits, you'll see a lot of times that you'll see Shutterstock named there in the credits. You'll see Pond5 named in the credits. If you watch the documentary, for example, that I provided called My Refugees, or My Refugee, you'll see the ProPix Canada Media name in the credits. So it depends on what type of show and where they're licensing. Now, when they license it, what essentially happens is that you are uploading to a database, and whether that is through Getty Images, whether that's through Pond5, or immediate news sites for what are called stringers, and we'll get into that a bit later. But regardless as to how it works, what happens is that the client, whether that is Universal Studios, whether that's CNN News, or so forth, they pay them a fee, the licensing fee. Now, that company will keep their percentage of that fee and then forward you, generally it's every month, that you'll get a paycheck essentially, and that's your royalties. Now, some sites, such as the stringer sites, certain ones, pay you out immediately. And so you'll just all of a sudden get a notification that you've sold a license, and then boom, in your account there is money. And but the majority of them pay out once a month, as long as you meet the minimum threshold for the amount. And a lot of them are like $25, $50. And a lot of them also pay out in US dollars. For us Canadians, that's convenient because, of course, with the strong US dollar, at least much stronger than the Canadian dollar, it works out to be substantially more each month. For example, one of the screens we'll be showing is a just over $1,200 US payment coming out that that I was paid for data set usage, which is AI data that they licensed. And so that was just over $1,200 for that month. And so, of course, that adds up substantially depending on the exchange rate. But it was probably about $1,600 and change for that month when you convert it to Canadian dollars. So let's take a look at various things that you're going to encounter and have to deal with when you are selling your items and your licenses. Now, again, different sites will have different options for you, and I always recommend at the beginning, and even through best practices, that you never enter into an exclusive contract with any of them. Excuse me, folks. Sorry about that. So in any event, though, so for example, here you have the field. Sorry, I just got to get a larger screen for me to be able to put up. That's okay, I'll leave it as is. So example, here is one page, and you can see some of my images here, whether it's the bear in the Rockies, up towards the Yukon with the bison, or the Indian residential schools and so forth. I literally have a collection of over 500,000 video and photo files that I have licensed. Excuse me. So at this time, I'm actually in negotiations with one of the major stock imagery and video distribution and licensing sites. They are looking at buying out the entire collection, including all rights. But we'll get into that a bit later as well, because that is something that most of you will not have the opportunity to do, given that you need a very large volume, and there's a lot of other business aspects that go into that. Now, because we are looking at various different sites here, there are some things that you want to know. Some of them do not just accept all freelance photographers. Sometimes you have to be part of professional associations or have letters of reference from different media outlets that you've serviced. And that makes it so that they know that they are bringing in quality, but also ethical responsibilities when it comes to editorial images. And we'll go over that versus creative. You have to excuse me, folks. I was up all night doing my other show and doing some prep for this week's talk show. In any event, though, when you look at it, you've got many different genres of photos, whether that is wildlife, whether it is nature, whether it is news, whether it is wilderness, flowers. Believe it or not, all of these things, no matter how small, even blades of grass, there is a demand out there in the world for this type of stock imagery and for videos. And it can be lucrative, but not essentially going to bring you enough to make a decent living.